Well, my two young kids were sitting in my lap at the time, so it's probably pretty self-explanatory, right? But they weren't at the rally. We were watching it actually on TV. Right. It's one day that we weren't traveling, and I had my kids in my lap, and we were watching it. I was working on an email, and obviously, the rest is history. And listen, we live in a world. There's a lot of evil in this world. There's no question about it. There's a lot of forces that are against good. There's a lot of forces that are against sanity. There's a lot of corrupt money in politics. There's a lot of problems. I mean, there's a lot of problems, and this is around the globe, not just here. But yeah, they tried to kill him, and they tried to do it in live TV in the middle of the day while the entire world was watching, and that's not lost on me. There are countries around the world that are still trying to kill him. Iran being one of them. Make no mistake about that, right? And we've been briefed on this many times, but there are certain countries in the world that are trying to develop nuclear weapons that chant death to America every single day. There are certain countries that under my father's leadership were totally broke, and now they're wealthy again, and they're shooting missiles at Israel every single day. And they would much prefer to have Kamala Harris, who's kind of an empty vessel, than Donald Trump, right? And the war machine is real. A lot of people make a lot of money off of wars, and my father wants to see no wars. He'll get Russia and Ukraine settled in about 3 seconds. He'll stabilize the Middle East again, as he did once before. You won't have the games, you won't have the nonsense. He wants to keep us out of World War III, and every single day it's man, is it crazy. I mean, we spent $200 billion on a war in the United States, so that every night you can turn on YouTube and you can watch these beautiful kids, younger than you in many cases, who come around a corner in a trench. They're holding AKs, they shoot each other in the face at point blank range, and a life is expunged like that.
Yeah.
For what reason? For what reason? And my father will get it settled. In fact, he's made a pledge to the entire world that he'll have that conflict settled before Inauguration Day. And he will. He knows Zelensky. As you know, Zelensky just came to visit him. He knows Putin very well. I think they both have a lot of respect for him. He's not playing games. And with the right leadership, you'll get that war ended. And that's what should happen, because everybody in the world, every sensible person in the world is sick and tired of death and destruction, of cities getting just destroyed. You look at the pictures of these cities, these are massive cities, there's nothing standing. Yeah. Think about every hope and every dream and every picture and every childhood teddy bear and gone, burned, destroyed, turned to dust and ash. Yeah. Have we not lost our damn minds? And you guys are funding it, and we're funding it. All we're funding is death. How about taking that same money and putting it into your schools? How about taking that same money and putting it into your roads? How about building great projects? How about, there's so many better uses than watching these young kids. They don't even know what they're fighting for. And they're dying and suffering every single day. And Donald Trump will get that war ended, and he'll do so very, very quickly. And by the way, he'll restore peace to the Middle East as well. And there's a lot of problems right now.
So would it be because obviously there's a lot of mystery that remains about, certainly the first guy, this Thomas Crook's character. There's really nothing we've understood about the guy as far as I can figure out. And then the second guy, Ruth, I'm not sure, we know that he was over there in Ukraine, which just to me stinks in itself. He must have been on some kind of the radar of the security services to some extent. But when you say they, do you think that somebody like Crooks was enabled by a foreign power, or do you think it's a deep state in this country?
No, I think it's highly possible. And maybe in terms of both, right? And it's I hate to say that, because I'm as far away from a conspiracy theorist as humanly possible. But they've done everything they can to try to take my father out over the last 10 years. They went after him with the dirty dossier. You remember that? They went after him with the made-up Russia hoax. You remember that? They tried to impeach him twice. They went after his Supreme Court justices. They raided his home. They raided his wife's closet, Melania's closet. They raided Barron's room. They tried to destroy me. They tried to destroy our company. They tried to take him off the ballots in a place like Colorado and Maine. They tried to literally remove him from our system of voting in this country, kind of subvert democracy. Then that didn't work out because of the Supreme Court. Then they went after him with every AG and every DA. They tried to remove him. They did. They threw him off of Twitter. They threw him off of Instagram and Facebook. They've tried to destroy the guy's life every single time. And I said something, a number of months ago before the shooting, and I said my biggest fear is that they try and inflict true like bodily harm. And I got a little bit of criticism when I said that, but I saw everything else. I saw every other way that you could try and destroy somebody, their friends, their family, everything that they had ever built, their reputation. I'd seen every lie, and I had seen so many of this come from our own government, that nothing would really surprise me. And that's why Butler really didn't surprise me, as atrocious and horrendous as it was. They tried everything else. And so I do think they're the real questions. Why haven't they opened? Why hasn't the FBI opened the phones? What's taking so long? They'll open phones, and we've got the best technology in the world, and we do this stuff as well as anyone in the world, probably better. Why haven't they gotten into the phones? Why haven't they figured out who was behind it? Right? There are some real questions.
And also, they got rid of this guy's body very quickly. I don't know what you think of that, but it seems like the FBI gave it back to the family. It wasn't under their jurisdiction. There's just a lot of strange things that happened. I'm
gonna get hit for saying this, but I mean, you know, this guy got cremated faster than most, you know, household pets that pass away. And I think might not be the greatest. It could be totally innocent. Maybe it was nefarious. Who the hell knows? I think we'll find out. Certainly we'll find out if my father wins. But was that a great look? I mean, I think they cremated him like 5 days after after the shooting. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's the greatest look. And why haven't they figured out who this guy was? Why haven't they gone into his phones? Apparently he had all sorts of apps in his phones. That's what we're hearing from intelligence. You know, why haven't they figured it out?
Right.
And why is it taking so long? Especially, this isn't just something that the American people want to know. This is something that the entire world deserves to know. They tried to kill the commander-in-chief, the former commander-in-chief, and very likely the future commander-in-chief on a national stage. Had they been successful in doing that, if it wasn't for the grace of God, America would have looked like a third world country, right? And they can't figure out, the greatest agencies, law enforcement agencies in the world can't figure out who this guy is. You know, we track terrorists every single day in caves around the world. You have Israel that literally just put explosives in beepers and literally took out like 2,500 guys in one of the most kind of remarkable hits ever, but we can't open up somebody's phone and figure out if they have ties to a foreign government. I'm not sure if people buy it. I'm not sure if I buy it. I'm not sure if people buy it. And I think people buy it. And I think we need real answers. And again, it's a shame that it does feel like it's going very slow. It's being swept under the rug. It's out of the news. People aren't really talking about it. But I will continue to talk about it, and I will be very, very, very loud about it. And I promise you, if my father is elected in 12 days, we will figure out who's behind this.